Good morning, Dr. Gavin.
Good morning, Elijah. How are you?
Thank you so much for joining us here at the Washington Informer and talking about your wonderful Partnerships for Healthy America Summit 2017 here in Washington, D.C. We're so happy to have you, and I'm wondering if you could talk about some of the highlights of this year's event and how are you planning for the future?
Well, the 2017 Summit for the Partnership for a Healthy America has really been, in many ways, a watershed summit because we're in a transitional time. Of course, with the change of administration, with Mrs. Obama, with whom we are so closely aligned, with her having left the White House and moving into private life. That's one aspect of transition that's been very important for our summit. The other transition, of course, is that our first full-time CEO, Larry Solar, is leaving to do a career change. And of course, it was very important that this summit be viewed by an anxious public as a strong statement that the work of the partnership is going to go on.
Yes.
Despite these transitions. And we believe that we have accomplished just that. The tone, the content have all been very powerful. The kinds of information that we've seen. We've had 30 commitments announced at this summit, and many of them renewals, which are powerful statements that people have had a great experience in their first commitment. They are planning to stay the course in doing what they've done. The work Mercedes-Benz has been championing with increasing physical activity opportunities for children, the construction of child-sized tennis courts by the United States Tennis Association, the early child care standards that have been set by organizations like Bright Horizons, the convenience store agreements to serve healthier foods. Even the candy industry has now combined as an industry, and that announcement was made here, that they're going to serve healthier, smaller portions with more transparency. So the work goes on, and we are still on track to solve this obesity problem within a generation.
Exciting, and we see, even though with the transition, it seems attendance has been down a little bit this year from last year. And what do you think it will take to add more dynamics to it? I mean, I'm imagining that there's sort of a lull in the air because of the new administration.
Yeah. Actually, Elijah, I think that there's probably a multifaceted reason for the small reduction in attendance. First, we're competing with graduation season. It's the week that's a run-up to Mother's Day. Mm-hmm. And then when you add to that the fact that we are in a transitional period. There were some people that didn't even know that Mrs. Obama would participate this year. There were people that didn't know that we'd have Cindy Crawford here. There were people that didn't know that President Clinton was going to be speaking at the summit. So I think that armed with the experience of this year's summit and with the impact of the roster of people who showed up this year, I think next year we'll probably see a rebound.
Yes. And would you describe what one of the things that I noticed with Larry Solar's speech yesterday, he did stress the idea of the partnerships in the name, and it really struck me in the heart, actually, because as someone who has worked in holistic health and as a vegan chef, you kind of feel alone for a large part of the journey, advancing newer ideas of healthy living. But what I saw here was a really beautiful spirit of a non-competitive spirit of partnership. I saw that myself, and I thought, wow, it's in the name. And I thought how special that is that you get to come together non-competitively and align around like values.
So this is the very core of who we are, how we were designed, and it's all been intentional. Our mission has been to work with the private sector to find pathways, solutions to solving the childhood obesity problem. And what that means is that we had to construct a way in which we could engage the private sector. And it was with a lot of deliberation that we decided that, it really had to be through voluntary collaborations. And they had to have meaning, and they had to be binding, and they had to have accountability. And all of those things spell partnerships.
Yes.
Okay, because we're trying to create win-wins. Okay. Private sector, we recognize and respect the fact that these are companies that are in business.
Yes.
And they have products that they need to sell, they have shareholders that they need to satisfy, they have profits that they need to generate. What we're trying to do is to find out how can you do those things and make the healthy choice the easy choice for American families so that the options that you offer are healthier.
Yes.
But you can still continue to do what you do.
Yes.
Make and sell your products. They just need to be, you need to have a consciousness about those products needing to be healthier.
Yes.
Because that's the win-win that we're trying to drive for. And that's the model that we use.
Yes.
We have memoranda of understanding, contracts that are signed by CEOs and chairwomen of the board that said, listen, this is what we are going to do. And people have to make their contracts in their lane. Okay, you can't be a food manufacturer and then you make a contract to help with physical activity. No, that's not your lane.
Yes, no.
We wanted you to do what you do.
Yes.
And make a contribution towards moving the needle. And that's what we found. And we've worked, negotiated, how can we make a win-win? And that partnership arrangement is multi-year. It's transparent. We have a verification process that people know that they're going to be monitored, and we're going to do an annual public reporting. And it takes partnership to do that because there has to be trust.
Yes, and we've had some incredible luminaries here. We've had President Bill Clinton, and today we have Michelle Obama coming to speak.
Yeah.
And a few others, if you would mention.
We do, because we have a national initiative, for example. We have a Drink Up campaign. We're now, because of our efforts to increase the consumption of water, whatever source, as long as it's clean and pure, bottled water, publicly available water, our Drink Up campaign has helped to make water the best-selling beverage in America.
I love it.
And we have another national initiative called F&B,